what is a Git? So what is a Git, guys? Git is a version control software. What is that? Git is the version control software. Now you understood what is a version control system. Git is a version control software. It will be versioning that, right? And it's a distributed control system. It is a distributed version control system. What is that? Not centralized. Now you understood, right? What is that? Git is a distributed version control system. What is that? So the version control systems are two types. One is CVCS, centralized version control system, and second one is DVCS, distributed version control system. So what is the example of CVCS, SVN? Subversion is the centralized version control system, and distributed version control system is Git. Why Git is popular? Because of there is a local repository and remote repository. So right, this is the advantage. That is the Git is popular. Now you understood? Git is a version control system and it's a distributed version control system. It's a distributed version control system. So why we use the Git, guys? It is it is used to and manage track and manage changes to manage changes to files locally. It will mean manage the, so it is used to track and manage changes to files locally. What is that? So here we can install the Git and it is used to track. So guys, how you can track Git log? So what is the commit ID? So when we commit the code, right? So what is the commit ID? Who is the author? Haris or is committed? When it will committed? What is the commit message? Right? Track the changes and manage the changes files locally. The changes files locally manages is nothing but a Git. So Git is a version control system or a software. It is a distributed control system. It is used to track and manage changes to a files locally. And why it is popular? Because of it is a open source. Why? Git is a open Git is a open source. Guys, now you understood? So now you understood the what is version control system. Now you understood the what is Git. So Git is used locally. So locally the developer develop that code, right? So once we develop that code, right, we need to push it to the local repository. How we can push the local repository? We can push the local repository through through Git. Understood, guys? So if we use the Git, we can push the code. We can say we can add or we can commit the code locally to the local repository from your laptop to working directly to local repository. So for this purpose, the entire workflow. So working directory, staging area, local repository, Git add, Git commit, Git checkout, Git merge. All these actions will be done through the Git local Git. All these done through the Git. Guys, understood? So this is nothing but all these activities done by the local Git and the remote repository. We can use the from local repository, remote repository. So we can use the Git push and Git pull commands. Guys, now you understood? So what is a Git? Now you understood the Git. Next, what is a GitHub? What is a GitHub? So what is a Git? Git is a version control system for tracking the changes into computer files. It is generally used for source code management in software development. In software development. So developers, so whatever the developers develop that code, right? That push it to the Git. That push it to the Git. Understood?